November 7th, 1944. 12p38. Lightnings soar high over Yugoslavia. Colonel Edwinson leads the formation. Below, a cloud of steam rises from the trees. A German locomotive. Not their main target, but too good to pass up. "Let's get it, boys!" Edwinson rolls into a dive. His squadron follows. Speed builds. The train fills his gun sight. Trigger pull. American bullets shred the locomotive. Steam erupts from a dozen holes. The lightnings climb back up. Victory, but the Germans strike back fast. Black flak bursts erupt around them. Shrapnel rips through thin aluminum skin. "Everyone get low!" Edwinson shouts. Too late. One lightning takes a direct hit. Flames engulf the aircraft. A desperate voice crackles over the radio. "I'm hit, going down!" Edwinson whips his head around. Instead of a parachute, he sees a fireball slamming into the hillside. Does anyone see a chute? Silence. Every pilot knows what that means. "Negative, sir." Rage floods through Edwinson. One of his men is dead. Someone will pay for this. The American fighters roar over Serbian mountains. Suddenly the ground drops away. A massive valley opens up below with an airfield at its center. Edwinson checks his map. This matches their briefing exactly. Then he sees it. A long convoy of trucks and tanks heading north toward Belgrade. German forces retreating. Perfect. His chance for revenge. There they are. Blue flight, hit that convoy. Red and yellow, take the airfield. Yes, sir. But down below, those aren't Germans. Red Army soldiers celebrate the October Revolution anniversary. Yugoslav partisans sing alongside them. Soviet flags wave proudly in the autumn air. Nobody notices the distant engine roar at first. When they finally look up and see P-38s, they smile. American allies. The celebration continues. Then the aircraft break formation, turn directly toward them. A few soldiers realize the horrible truth. No, they're going to attack. They grab flags and wave frantically, screaming, hoping the Americans will see. But there's no time. The lightnings are already diving. Fingers tighten on triggers. Soviet soldiers are cut down where they stand. Bullets tear through the convoy. Men and machines shredded by American fire. The celebration becomes a massacre. Panic erupts. Then bombs fall. Explosions rip through what remains of the column. Bodies fly through the air. At the nearby Soviet airfield, lookouts hear the blasts. They turn and see aircraft diving toward them. "Man the guns!" The alarm screams. Soviet gunners sprint to their positions. Anti-aircraft guns roar to life. Tracers arc into the sky. Edwinson leads his men down on what he believes is a German airfield. Flak bursts all around them, but they press on. His lightnings unleash hell. 20mm cannons and 50 caliber machine guns pour fire onto parked aircraft below. "Pull up!" The Americans climb, but one doesn't follow. Lieutenant Coulson fights his controls. His lightning's been hit hard, damaged, losing altitude. Every gun on the airfield targets him. "She won't climb!" More rounds smash into his aircraft. Wings disintegrate. The lightning spins out of control and slams into the ground. A fireball erupts. Coulson never had a chance. Edwinson sees another of his men die. His fury intensifies. These Germans will pay. Climb and attack again. On the ground, Soviet pilots race through smoke and flames to their fighters. "All pilots scramble!" Two Yak-9s roar to life first. The Soviet flight commander and his young wingman. As they taxi, the commander looks up. The American fighters are coming back. "Faster!" They line up and slam throttles forward. The Yaks accelerate down the runway and leap into the air. Enemy fighters loom overhead. The two Soviets stay low, skimming treetops. Behind them, their squadron isn't so lucky. More Yaks take off in a group. Easy targets. Edwinson's men have lost 2 friends already. They want blood. "Get them before they climb!" The lightnings dive through flak. Guns blazing. Soviet fighters are ripped apart in mid-air. One Yak explodes immediately. Others scatter, damaged and desperate. But one Soviet pilot sees his chance. He yanks his Yak upward, aims, fires. A lightning flies straight into his stream of bullets. The American aircraft disintegrates, pilot trapped inside. The burning wreck crashes into the forest. Lieutenant Brewer never escaped. 3 of Edwinson's men dead now. This fight isn't going as planned. "Defensive circle, we're fighting our way out." The 2 Soviet pilots who escaped earlier race back toward the chaos. They're alone. outnumbered, but below them their comrades are dying. The choice is clear. They pull into a vertical climb. This moment will change history. For the first time ever, American and Soviet fighters meet in actual combat. "I'll cover you. Attack," the commander orders. His wingman doesn't hesitate. He dives on a Lightning at full speed. His cannon roars, hits, but not enough to kill. The Lightning survives and calls for help. 2 more Americans pounce. The young Soviet is in trouble, twisting, dodging, desperate. "I can't shake them. Hold on." The commander's heart pounds as he watches tracers chase his wingman. He dives into the fight, lines up 1 Lightning, fires, miss. The American breaks off anyway. The commander ignores him, focuses on the 2nd Lightning. This time his aim is perfect. The American fighter bursts into flames. The pilot bails out. Parachute blossoms. 1 American saved. But how many more will die before this madness ends? "Thanks, boss." "Stay sharp." Soviet reinforcements arrive. More yaks pour into the battle. The Americans are suddenly surrounded, outnumbered. The tables have turned. In the chaos, the 2 Soviets get separated. The commander spots a Lightning and gives chase, spiraling upward through the sky. The American fighter climbs too, but the P-38 wasn't built for this kind of fight at low altitude. The Soviet closes in fast. He's got the American dead to rights. On the ground below, a Soviet anti-aircraft crew fires at anything with wings. Whether it's bad aim or just panic, nobody will ever know, but their shells streak upward, directly at their own fighter. The commander gets no warning. The yak explodes, pieces rain down from the sky. His wingman sees it happen, calls out on the radio, no response. His leader is gone, killed by his own side. The young pilot is alone now, outnumbered 10 to 1, but he doesn't run. He dives back into the fight. P-38s swarm him. 1 climbs, stalls, then fires. The Soviet pilot flies straight through the burst. His yak catches fire. Smoke pours from the engine. The aircraft falls from the sky and crashes near the airfield he was defending. He died protecting his home. More Soviet fighters fall. Casualties mount on both sides. Desperate calls go out to every nearby base. "Help! We need help!" Captain Koldunov leads a fresh squadron racing to the scene. He's been told he's fighting German reconnaissance planes, but Koldunov knows something's wrong. Germans don't attack like this, not with reconnaissance aircraft. As he approaches the battle, his blood runs cold. Those aren't German planes, that distinctive twin-boom shape. American P-38 Lightnings, his allies. He immediately breaks off his attack run, flies alongside the Lightnings, rocks his wings back and forth, the universal signal. "Look at me, see my markings. We're allies," he shouts, knowing they can't hear. But instead of recognition, a Lightning slows, gets on his tail. Guns train on him. "Damn it!" Koldunov throws his yak into violent evasive maneuvers. Tracers streak past his canopy. He tries again, flies straight through the middle of the fight. Wings rocking, red stars clearly visible. Nothing works. Until he pulls up right next to Colonel Edwinson's Lightning, close enough to see into the cockpit. Close enough for Edwinson to see him. Edwinson looks at the fighter beside him. His eyes go wide. Red stars, Soviet markings. He looks around frantically. Every single enemy aircraft carries the same marking. Red stars on every wing. The horrible truth crashes over him like ice water. "Cease fire! Cease fire! They're Soviets! Everyone back to base, now!" His voice cracks with desperation. "Repeat! Everyone back to base now!" All the P-38s break off, turn west, flee, but Soviet fighters give chase. Fresh pilots who don't know what just happened. They see Americans running. They pursue. Koldunov screams into his radio, "Let them go! They are allies! Stand down!" One by one, Soviet pilots break off pursuit. The terrible accident ends as suddenly as it began. The sky falls silent, except for the crackle of burning wreckage. Soviet High Command initially suspects a deliberate attack. Tensions spike. For a brief moment, the alliance itself seems threatened. But America admits the mistake, sends an explanatory letter, details the chain of errors. The Soviets accept, officially. The Soviet version of events gets released over the years, probably embellished, definitely incomplete. The American version? Almost nothing. The full account remains classified to this day. Many believe it will stay secret for 100 years. November 7th, 1944. 6 American pilots killed, 8 Soviet pilots killed, 14 good men dead, all fighting the wrong enemy. Edwinson returned to base shattered. 3 of his men lost while avenging the first. But his revenge struck allies, not enemies. The Soviet pilots died defending their base from an attack that never should have happened. That young wingman protecting his brothers. The commander killed by his own guns. Koldenov survived, haunted forever by the day he desperately tried to stop Americans from killing him. One wrong identification, one bad map reading, one chain of mistakes. And brothers in arms became mortal enemies. After the war, both nations chose silence over truth. Too painful, too embarrassing, too dangerous to discuss. But the lesson remains. In the fog of war, the line between friend and enemy can vanish in seconds, and good men die because of it. The families received telegrams, killed in action, heroes. But they died fighting their own allies. That's war's cruelest truth. The skies over Yugoslavia claimed 14 Allied pilots that day in 1944, but that airspace wasn't finished with American aircraft. 55 years later, in 1999, those same skies would witness another impossible event. An American warplane shot down, but this time it wouldn't be a case of mistaken identity. This time, the aircraft was invisible to radar. Supposedly untouchable. The most advanced stealth fighter ever built. The F-117 Nighthawk. And a Serbian farmer with a decades-old Soviet missile system would achieve what military experts said was impossible. He would shoot down the invisible plane. How? Against all odds? That story is even more unbelievable than what you just heard. Check out that film to see how the first stealth aircraft in history met its end in the very same region where allies once fought allies, because sometimes the sky above the Balkans writes stories that seem too incredible to be true.